Nuris Higueras Martinez owns a restaurant that caters to tourists, diplomats, and affluent Cubans. She employs 22 workers, but up until now, Cuban law hasn't allowed her to incorporate her restaurant as a separate legal entity. Officially, at least, she's a businesswoman without a business.
If we could register the company, it would allow us to trade with other businesses in Cuba and abroad. It would allow us to import, and this could help us grow. That would not only mean growth for us, but growth for the economy, more employment, more people with their own businesses. That would be fabulous.
On Sunday, Cuba's National Assembly voted through a new constitution which recognises private property for the first time in decades. The constitution will be put to a popular referendum later this year. The preamble of Cuba's constitution pays tribute to Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin. But over the last decade, the private sector has grown and more multinationals have invested in the island. The new constitution's recognition of private property brings Cuban law into line with this new reality. Economist Emily Morris says there'll now be a constitutional basis for the island's private sector.
Ideologically, it's a shift because it's the Cuban system is supposed to be dominated by the state's supposed to run the economy. As I understand it, the intention is to limit the size of the private sector to small and medium-sized companies. The most fundamental principle of capitalism is the assumption of the freedom to do any kind of business activity unless it's prohibited. Whereas here, the assumption is that there's a certain kind of society they're trying to build and that business activity is permitted as long as it's consistent with those principles.
Cubans yearn for economic improvements, but are wary of rising inequality.
I think it's good because you'll have more options to choose from. It won't only be the state offering a service that sometimes isn't as good as in other countries. But I'm worried about the difference in social classes. Not everyone will have access to these services.
I was 11 before the revolution, and there was private property. The rich were rich and the poor were poor. We didn't have anything. We were destitute. This could be dangerous for our society.
Though Cuba's new constitution no longer includes the goal of building a communist society, it reaffirms that the island is irrevocably socialist. The capitalists haven't had the last laugh just yet. Ed Augustin, TRT World, Havana.